I just came to the realization that, like, if you're 40 years old, you're never gonna find love. Like, I was married for, oh my god, I need to stop. I was married for over 20 years, and like, I was so used to being a wife. Like, I'm just more sad about the fact that, like, it's impossible. It's impossible to find someone that you will 100% trust.
Rivah TV. What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. So I saw this in the wonderful world of TikTok, and it's basically about a woman who regrets getting divorced because now that she's out in the streets, she has become the side chick. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and press play, pause play, and give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions on this entire situation.
I just came to the realization that, like, if you're 40 years old, you're never gonna find love. Like, oh my god, sorry, I woke up like really emotional because I was married for, oh my god, I need to stop. I was married for over 20 years, and like, I was so used to being a wife. Like, I loved being married, you know? Like, I love being a wife. I love having like that one person I love coming home to and like venting all my to. And now it's like, yeah, you date people and like sparks fly, and then it's just like, oh, I found better, you know?
I want to say this. I'm not going to stop too much because I know you guys don't like when I stop it too much, and I won't. But one thing she said is that being over 40 is that she, that everybody will always ever, be single and nobody will ever find anybody.
I just came to the realization that, like, if you're 40 years old, you're never going to find love. Like,
that's not vehemently true, okay? Like, that's not a 100% one size fits all. But the majority of conversations that I've seen are women who have gotten divorced and are completely telling women, like, girl, it feels like that's it for us, okay? And what I find so ironic is that continuously these women say that they, miss doing things for two. They miss thinking in pairs. They miss having to consider somebody else.
I was so used to being a wife. Like, I loved being married, you know? Like, I love being a wife. I love having like that one person I love coming home to and like venting all my to.
But a lot of these women clearly take that for granted when they're in these marriages. Clearly. Like, oh, I'm so tired of having to deal with somebody else. I'm so tired of having to think for two. I'm so tired of having to do somebody else's laundry. I'm so tired of having to think of asking what he wants for dinner and cater to him. Like, when they're in that little, warp of being selfish, and I'm tired of, helping somebody else out, or I'm tired of, not pouring into myself, then they forget that that's actually a privilege to have somebody else around you to consider.
And now it's like, yeah, you date people and like sparks fly, and then it's just like, oh, I found better.
And now in their, bitterness and their loneliness, all of a sudden they have this epiphany of how much of a gift that really was.
I was talking to my ex again, and there was a TikTok, I had a fan on here, a TikTok follower, that messaged me, and she said, hey, I started talking to this guy, and I noticed on his Instagram, like those highlight reels, you were in one of his highlight reels, like you guys made a TikTok together. And I was like, oh yeah, that's my boyfriend, because we were like trying to work things out. It was long distance, whatever. And she's like, oh, well, we're talking. He said he was single. And I'm like, I'm not even crying about that. I think I'm just more sad about the fact that, like, it's impossible. It's impossible to find someone that you will 100% trust And part of it has to do with me too, because honestly 99% of the time it's because they're cheating, you know, because it's so accessible. Social media, talking to other women. Why do I still have my seatbelt on?
That seatbelt was about to be her 100th reason. Okay, that seatbelt was. It's just like when you mad or you argue it, and then all of a sudden your pocket gets stuck on the doorknob or something. You be like, "This is it! Like this is the moment." And the thing about this situation is like I said before, sometimes women have this ideology of the grass being greener, right? And sometimes the image of the grass being greener is that there's going to be a better guy out there, that there's going to be more money out there, a guy that's going to come and pay all their bills, that there's going to be, the man who does the 20%, that the 80% that this man was already doing, but he was missing a 20%, like romance or whatever. They stay outside and look for that, unaware of the fact that you had this person who you were with for 20 years, not 1, not 2, not 5, not 10, 20 years, who was committed to you, who came home to you every day, whatever the situation was, and you decided somewhere along the lines that you deserve better than that.
I was married for, oh my God, I need to stop. I was married for over 20 years, and like, I was so used to being a wife,
And a lot of times when these girls think the grass is, or these women think that the grass is greener on the other side, a lot of times they feel like it's better to be the woman on the outside that he's cheating with. Okay? I'm telling you guys some real tea right now. And so they feel like because maybe he had a little fling going on with the secretary or whatever the situation was, they'd rather be the woman outside. And then when they go and become the woman on the other side, they realize, well, this is no fulfillment. I should have stayed the woman in the house. Like, it's foolishness.
I was talking to my ex again, and there was a TikTok. I had a fan on here.
Now, this thing that she said about having a fan on her TikTok is one of the things that messed me up. Because in my personal opinion, it sounds like you're the one who decided that you thought that you had, all these kind of different options because of the false reality that social media adds to a lot of women. A lot of women strongly believe that because, there's men in her likes and her DM on Instagram or on TikTok or on social media, because there's men in the comments, begging for a chance or for an opportunity, they take that as law. Not realizing that a lot of these men are just passing time. Okay? If you'll take them up on their offer, sure. But if not, no sweat off their back. They don't necessarily mean the things that they're saying. And a lot of people get that, they take that the wrong way. And so they'll believe that because all their exes are coming back in their DMs and because all these men are out there, they go to these men and tell them, hey, I left my man for you. I left my relationship for you and I'm ready to start something. He's like, what did you do that for? I didn't want you for real. I was just playing. We was just playing games. I was just seeing, if I still had it. I didn't mean nothing that I was saying. And so they have this false sense of reality of, again, what the image will look like, what their life would look like. And she keeps using the word impossible, that it's impossible for her to be able to find this. And the reason why I believe that she feels that way is because she is longing for what she had. She's longing for the situation she was already in.
And she said, hey, I started talking to this guy and I noticed on his Instagram, like those highlight reels, you were in one of his highlight reels, like you guys made a TikTok together. And I was like, oh yeah, that's my boyfriend, because we were like trying to work things out. It was long distance, whatever. And
every time I bring up this stuff, I have to bring up Tia Mowry. It is no shade to her at all, but it's because she was doing the same things. She literally went on an interview, talked to somebody, and told them that she missed, men courting, just like how her ex-husband courted her. She wished men courted her the same way now today.
Last relationship, when dating was, when I was, dating this person, it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was wonderful. There was courting that was, involved. And I was saying how I feel like that's no longer, present.
Then she went on the TV show and started talking about how, you know, the dating pool was so horrible, and it made her feel like maybe she want to go back home.
Want to be alone, you know. So when I'm going through these challenges, sometimes you want to go back. The only person that I ever loved in my life was my ex.
Like, women are, this is not something that happens one-off. This isn't one-off situations where women leave their situations and they just somehow feel like, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out. Majority of the situations that we are seeing are that women leave these relationships thinking that they are without fault, they're without blame, they did not add to the demise of the relationship, they need nothing to work on, they don't need to fix anything. And because of that mentality, they go outside, don't grow, evolve, don't change, don't have somebody pointing a mirror back to them, and then they remain single because they are trying to find somebody who would be willing to put up with the foolishness that they bring to the table like their husbands did. And when they keep searching for the man, they can't find him. Not realizing that the ultimate man for you is the person that you left.
She's like, oh, well, we're talking. He said he was single. And I'm like, I'm not even crying about that. I think I'm just more sad about the fact that, like, it's impossible. It's impossible to find someone that you will 100% trust. And part of it has to do with me too.
And now he has the ability to go out and go find somebody else who is bringing the 80% that you didn't have and the 20% good that you did. See how I tilt to those scales? Because a lot of times men bring 80% good to the relationship and women will leave because he's not bringing the 20% that they deem so important. And those men leave that relationship and they go find a woman who is willing to be the 80% good that you were not willing to do, while also bringing the 20% good that you have. So they go find a whole person while you go find a percentage. It's the truth. Now, like I said, this is not a one size fits all. This is not an every time, every case basis. There's some women who are able to leave relationships and get into a new one and actually be happy and thrive. And the reason being is because those women decide to look into themselves, take accountability for their actions, and truly commit to change. They're not self-pitying. They're not sorry. They're not throwing shade at their ex every chance they get. They're not trying to act like they out here and they got all these options. They're truly doing the work with humility. That's the difference. I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this entire situation. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.
Rivah TV.